Welcome to episode 37 of Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O. We're going to cover some of the NBA playoffs, what we've seen so far after each team has played. Each team has played one game, basically, and then Cooper Flagg, his decision to either stay or go to the NBA, a little bit of NFL draft, and more. All right, but before we do that, Johnny, our title sponsor
is Estate Jewelry and Loan. Something old, something new. Estate Jewelry has a great selection of new and estate jewelry, and you can really find a unique piece for any occasion. Brian's showroom, we had him on as a special 10-minute segment last week. I thought that went well. If you listeners get a chance to go to that. Brian's showroom is beautiful, has lots to choose from. It's a very cool little jewelry store. I mean, he's got a lot of good stuff. Estate jewelry, diamonds, and watches. Check them out at 2511 Battleground Ave. And you can go to estatejewelryloan.com to check out what he has and how to get to his place. And also Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill, located in High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro at the Target Shopping Center on New Garden. Food trucks, catering, daily specials. Go to salsaritas.com.
All right, very good. All right, so takeaways from the first set of games in the NBA playoffs. I think probably the main headline is the Lakers look old and slow. I mean, I don't see one analyst say they've had Minnesota winning. Not one. They're saying, oh, well, they're a one-man team. They're going to be struggling. If Anthony Edwards doesn't score 40 points a game, they're in trouble. No, it was a win by committee, and it was a decisive win, and they looked old and slow. Luka's young, but they looked old and slow. I know you're a LeBron jock sniffer, so I mean, but it's just one game, but it was at home. They're the big time favorites, and they did not look good. What do you think?
I agree. They looked they just weren't ready for that game, I guess. Minnesota, they absolutely were physical, a lot more physical, and I think that surprised the Lakers. But Minnesota is really good. You got what's his name? Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle. The guy they picked up from the Knicks, Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, he's a tough son of a gun, man. He makes that team tougher. And Rudy Gobert just plays defense, man. I mean, he's 7'1", and he's about as long. I think his wingspan's like 10 feet. I mean, he plays some good defense. So the Lakers were not ready. It was one game. I'm not really too worried about it. I will be if it happens a second time here, but I can only imagine. I think it'll be a different ball game on game 2. I think JJ Redick will have them ready. LeBron will, he really didn't do much, and who knows, maybe something was going on. You just don't know. It's the first game. Now they felt them out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things too. They made, I believe it, Timberwolves playoff record, 21 threes, and they shot 50% from the 3-point line. That's not going to be the case, but it wasn't like it was a close game and that's what got them over the hump. I mean, it was decisive win. But they're not going to shoot like that. They're going to be back down to the 10 to 12, 13 threes a game, probably shooting more like 35%, not 50%. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Luka showed up. I mean, he had 30-something points, and he's going to do that. So they'll be fine once everybody else kicks it in next game.
Yeah. So. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't want to overreact after one game because one game is one game. But at home, that did not look good. If they were on the road, they might maybe. But you will see. But that's always worrisome to me, and not in a bad way. Like if I want a team to if I want the Timberwolves to win when they shoot lights out, because that's not sustainable for 7 games.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But
that's a great team. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Minnesota, and Anthony Edwards is a superstar. So I mean, anything can happen on that.
All right, and then the Thunder looked the most dominant.
Oh my God!
Memphis is not a bad team. They got beat by 50.
By 50, right from the start. Yes. What was it? 131 to 80, I guess. 51
Yeah,
points. Um, and Shai Gilgeous Alexander, probably the MVP of the NBA, he only had like 14 or I think he had 16 points that game. I mean, the whole team just rolled over the Grizzlies. So I don't know what happened there, but what I do know is there's no reason why OKC can't win the whole damn thing. I mean, they are that good. They're young. They're just ready to play. Um, you know, John Morant, he promises that won't happen next game, but of course, that's an easy promise. You're not going to get beat by 50 again, I don't think.
right,
But
right.
look out for OKC. I really like that team. Again, I'm a Laker fan, yes, but I'm just a basketball fan, and I would love to see a young team like that, roll through the playoffs. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about last week, 68 wins on the season, and that's in the era of load management, everything, and then in a very competitive West. I mean, that team is tough, and they're young, and they're fast, and they're long, and they got shooters everywhere. And yeah, you're right. Shea Gilgeous, not really a shooter, but he's a scorer, and he didn't have to have a big game. I remember taking the kids to a Hornets game 2 or 3 years ago, and I wasn't even paying attention, and we got like these awesome, like for some reason the seats were, how like on these secondary sites were rated. It was
Yeah.
rated like 9.9 out of 10 for a deal. And I'm like, they're not super cheap, but I don't know. But we didn't know they were club seats. And so you had this access to this restaurant and all this stuff. And it was like really nice. It just got really lucky on that. We had our own separate entrance. It was like, oh, wow. I just thought they were regular tickets. And I was like, what is this thing to mean on here? Anyway, so we went, but it was against the Thunder. And this was probably 3 years ago. And so, they're just, Shea was, I think, a rookie or maybe second year. And I was like, man, this dude is killing us. He had like 35, and it was like a quiet 35. Just looked up, bam, he has 35. And so my son now thinks it's cool that probably the MVP, we got to see him play, but he was really fun to watch. Just
Absolutely.
very smooth, in control, and, kind of a quiet star,
You just hit it on the nose. Like you just said, he was very quiet, 30 something points 3 years ago. He's still doing it. He just, I guess the word is smooth. I mean, it doesn't look like he's scoring a lot of points, but all of a sudden he's got 37, 38 points and all kinds of other stats. He deserves the MVP this year. But again, you can't count out Nikola Jokic, man. He's unbelievable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Denver's got, they're off to a good start. The Cavaliers look strong. The Celtics look shaky in the first half, but they got 3-point shooters everywhere. When
all the way down the bench. I mean, that team is loaded.
I mean, Tatum and Jaylen Brown only had 1-3 combined, and Derek White had 30. Pritchard had, I think, 19. And those dudes they're coming off the bench getting they combined for 49 points off the bench. And it's like, boy, that's tough. But I don't know. I think that Orlando's going to take a game or two from them. I don't think it's going to be a sweep or anything. But
probably not. But the Celtics they're so strong from top to bottom. And you mentioned that Pritchard kid, he comes in, he had like 20 something points. He plays like 17 minutes. He goes back to the bench. Hey, I got 23. I'm done for the night. I mean, it's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, he's a bucket. He's an automatic bucket. And Derek White has 7 threes, and he can shoot. And then he's long and he's a goofy looking guy, but that dude can play, man. That dude can play. Yeah. So I mean, I think the takeaways are outside of the Lakers, everything kind of happened the way we probably thought it would happen. No real major. Golden State looked good, but Golden State, everything was so compacted. The fact they're a 7 seed, they're just playing a team that can't shoot. The Rockets are. I watched. They can't shoot, and their star Jalen Green was totally out of control the entire game. He would just put his head down, go to the basket, and was probably getting fouled, but he had 5 points late into the fourth quarter, and it was like, ugh. And Steph Curry looked amazing, but also Steph Curry, he made probably 3 threes that no other human could ever make. Yeah. And I don't know if that's sustainable. And Draymond Green, his offense is non-existent. I don't know. Jimmy Butler looked good, but they're really a 2-man team. I think this is going to be I think it's going to be a longer series.
It is. And Houston, was they were in that number 2 slot all year long. So, and they surprised me. So don't count them out, but I love watching Warrior basketball. I just love the way they play. And you mentioned a couple of those shots that Steph makes. We say, or you just said, they're like, off balance, this and that. He does that all the time. And he throws them up in the air and they hit nothing but bottom of the net. I mean, that guy he is just a joy to watch play basketball. He
is the one player that can get me to, outside when it's not the playoffs, to watch basketball.
Yep.
He's the one. I can't think of. I don't know if there's another guy in the NBA like, I love sports, so I'll watch. But Steph Curry's still the one. I mean, LeBron doesn't do it for me. Never has. I don't think he's obviously excellent. It's just not exciting. He's never been, like, to me, exciting to watch, except for when he's new in the league because you want to see what he does. I know he's great, but he's not. He's a facilitator, and that's not as fun. That's not his fault. It's not as fun to watch. Outside of when they came back in Cleveland and won that championship, that was like a series to behold. But like day to day, he's not, to me, exciting player. That's just my own personal opinion. I know a lot of people probably disagree with that. He's just never been exciting for me to watch. But Steph Curry, with the way he plays and logo threes and falling out of bounds, and and then when he gets hot, it's just like, oh my gosh, this dude. He's the guy that's like, when he's in the zone, he's really in the zone.
He's in the zone. And when he starts hitting threes and throwing them up, when he's, in the corner and he's in front of his bench or the other bench, he throws it up, turns around to the bench, points to the bench, and then it goes in. That's when you're in a zone. And nobody, I mean, obviously he's the greatest. Can you imagine that? I mean, what a great honor. Can you imagine saying, I am the greatest shooter in basketball history? And that's what he is, man. I mean,
ever in the entire world. And when he was coming out of high school, nobody wanted him. None of all the big schools thought he was too small, and then he's at Davidson. I mean, now transfer portal, he would have bounced around probably, a couple times, but man, incredible. That's a fun watch for sure.
A joy. And what he's done to his body. I mean, you look at him, I mean, he's got some bulk, some muscle to him now. To play all those games in the NBA, he had to do that, and he did it. He's a hardworking guy. He's just, he'll go down as one of the greatest, just from, being that skinny kid at Davidson and doing what he's doing in the NBA is just incredible.
So what do you think? What do you think? Let's say that Golden State, let's say they win it this year, which they could. I mean, I think they're 27-8 with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry both playing.
Yep.
And I think from the time he joined their team, they're the number one defense in the NBA, the Golden State Warriors. If he gets a 5th ring, is he the best player? I mean, is he above LeBron James in that conversation?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's so hard. It's a great conversation. They both have 4 right now, I guess. LeBron has lost 6. He's been in 10 of them, some with, at the beginning without, a lot of players. I mean, it was basically him that got him there when he was a lot younger, because, he has slowed down so much. LeBron, he's 40 years old. He's, still averaging 28, 10 and 8, but I'm just saying he's still unbelievable.
He's great. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. It's hard to say. I mean, it's what, we're 2 lucky guys to be watching these 2 guys still play the game of basketball, because Steph's getting up there in age too. He's like 35 or 36. We say that, but in the NBA, that's a lot of years getting banged around in the NBA, and he's still on top of his game. So,
well, and I mean, the bookend championships for them. I mean, he doesn't have. He wasn't playing with any top 25 players in the NBA, not even top 50 players in the NBA. I mean, not top 25 for sure.
Klay Thompson. I mean, he's in there.
He was a good shooter, but I don't know. I think you have to go look back. I don't think he's rated there though. But I have to look at the ratings on that. But in LeBron, every time he's won one, he's had a top 5 player on his team, if not 2.
Well, you got to have that. I mean, if you go down the line, you're going to have, Michael had Scottie Pippen,
Right.
Rodman, you can go on,
You
with
got to have
that. I
good
mean,
players, but it's just I don't know. I think there's an argument that can be made that Steph Curry we can definitely say changed the game more. It's gone to a 3-point shooting league,
oh my God.
and young people are like, I'm going to shoot threes and that's it. I mean, that's really when I go like seriously before my son. And they're out there. Everyone's out there just chucking, and not just like deep threes. I'm like, but that's the game. I mean,
Throwing up threes.
and he's just a consistently good, great player. But then the middle two, he had Kevin Durant, which at the time was a top 5 player.
Oh yeah.
But you see Kevin Durant before and after. This dude's going to all these stacked teams. They don't even make the playoffs. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would be a good. We need to maybe jump into that for a good conversation on one of these shows.
Yeah, let's do a deep dive on that.
Now, I mean, obviously he is, offensively he's a machine, but as a teammate, I don't know. We'll have to, we need to dig deep on that.
Yeah, let's do a deep dive on Kevin Durant because
that would be
really
great.
Especially recently, it's been. Well, I mean, since he left Golden State and then even before, it's like this is like what? Why is he not winning more?
Yeah.
So
yeah, he had Kyrie Irving. Remember what did he go to? New Jersey, right? Or Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And Harden. Was Harden on that damn team too?
Yeah, when they were young, it was Harden, Westbrook.
Oklahoma
City. Oh, yeah. Oh no, Brooklyn was Harden, Durant, and Irving. But that was during COVID, and they didn't let Irving play any home games.
Yeah, well, Irving was he
didn't want to get vaccinated, and they wouldn't let him play home games for a while.
Dude.
But
and back to Kyrie Irving, pound for pound, and I always said this about Allen Iverson. Okay, Kyrie Irving, pound to pound, because what's he 6'2", whatever he is. That is a basketball talent. He's a little weird in the head, obviously, sitting out all those games, for a few years, but the talent is unbelievable what he has and what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Before we get to Cooper Flagg and a little bit of NFL draft, we want to thank some of our other sponsors. We have Surf Hippie Fishing for all your fishing needs. They do it all: apparel, fishing rod holders. I mean, they are the go-to place for anything fishing. surfhippiefishing.com. That's with a PH. You have, elite performance chiropractic with former professional football player Jeremy Phillips to get you back feeling better than ever. 2 locations, Greensboro and Winston-Salem. Who else we got?
You got Pure Energy Fitness with Blaze Thompson. He spent 25 years helping everyone from beginners to pro athletes build strength, resilience, and lifelong fitness through smart functioning training. At Pure Energy, they prepare you for the seasons of life by igniting your pure energy, one rep at a time, inside and out. Go to pureenergyfitness.com, and he's located in Greensboro, right off of Lawndale Ave. You got Schenk and Torrance Insurance, located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire triad and state. Brian Torrance specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance. Call Brian at 336-310-1320 for all your insurance needs. Imperial Marketing Solutions, my man, but you seem to like Jimmy Snow too. Just when I mention Jimmy Snow, it brings a smile to your face.
Yes, I love the name.
If you ever met him, you would laugh your ass off. Let me tell you that. Sale of equipment, sales of new reconditioned computer IT hardware, reconditioned equal to brand spanking new. He gives a 3-year warranty with his products. Out-of-state drop shipping, payment terms available. Call Jimmy Snow at 315-345-8349.
All right, so Cooper Flagg. Really, I mean, this whole season's just a big tease for Duke Blue Devil fans, where they got this great player and he is great and he's going to be, unless he gets hurt, I think he's going to be a great NBA player. He's more like a European player to me. He can do everything at such a young age. He really got Duke fans thinking he was coming back, and it makes me so happy because Duke fans are so stupid. He is not coming back. Why would he come back? I think they're trying to look for $10 million, but even so, it's going to put him back for his second contract by a year, and that's where you make your big money. He'll have no problem with all the endorsements. But Cooper Flagg has declared for the NBA draft he'll be the number one pick, and he'll be on some bad team, Utah Jazz. I mean, because they changed the way the lottery system works, and so like the bottom 4 have the same chances, and really the bottom 13 have a chance, but the bottom 4 have the better chances. So he could be a wizard.
Maybe Charlotte will get him. I mean, that'd be nice.
That'd be nice. Our luck will be we will not.
Right.
We'll pick some forward, that played at Kentucky for 1 year that will be in the NBA and average 6 points a game. I mean, that's what the Hornets do. Or they get a LaMelo Ball, who I love, who can't stay healthy.
I know he's got to stay healthy because that kid is fantastic when he's healthy.
Really
man.
Good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but Cooper Flagg makes the right decision.
I'm happy he's gone. It's time for him to go to the NBA, but I think the Duke fans were holding on because, he actually left high school a year early to come to Duke. So I think he's barely 18 going on 19 or whatever. And, but he's ready for the NBA. The kid's got, he just seems like a Larry Bird type player that is more athletic and can jump. That's scary.
Right.
So that he could really make an impact in the NBA. And when he played against the Olympic team or whatever, remember they were talking about him when he was on the other team playing him in a scrimmage or whatever. All the NBA guys said, this kid's got game already, and that was over a year ago. So
he was 17 at the time. That's crazy.
Yeah,
he'll be fine. And it's I think a large discussion too is like he's a few years from now, my son has said, other people have said it, and it's like 4 or 5 years from now, I do think it'll be like, oh yeah, Cooper Flagg, oh yeah, he was at Duke for a little bit, wasn't he? And really, I mean, with Final Four, they were definitely the best team in the country. But just like when Zion was there, I'm like, oh yeah, Zion used to play for them, and they lost, in the Elite Eight or whatever. I don't know. It's just Duke since 2015 has not been to a championship game, and they consistently have the top recruiting class every single year with Coach K for 7 of those 10 years. Yeah. And they constantly have underperformed with this massive amount of talent. And for some reason, the media gives them a big pass. Duke has underperformed as a team and as a program.
They're already picked to win it next year.
Yeah, of course they are.
They do that every year. The early top 25, they're going to win it all. And I mean, they do. They're very talented, but it's even more fun when they're so talented and then they get beat. It makes it even nicer though.
It's way better. Yes. Yeah. When they're bad, which is rare, it's like,
you either love them or hate them. And obviously we're haters, but you got to respect some of these players. They're just fantastic. And so far I don't hate John Shire. I think he's doing what he's got to do, but what you just said, they haven't won since 15. Is that 15. A fact?
And they haven't been to a championship game since 15.
How about that?
Yeah, Carolina has been to 3. They lost. They should have won. They could have won all 3, especially that Villanova game, and they lost. They're up by 16 to Kansas. But that's also. But I'm only reason I bring up Carolina. I know I'm a Carolina fan is because Carolina has not had on average a top 10 recruiting class, let alone a number 1 recruiting class. They've been in the top 10, I think, one time during that time period. And then you have teams like, we saw like Florida where they have a mixture of young guns and men, or like a Houston, which should beat Duke. They have some men. Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to adjust. They don't look like it, though. They're still got a bunch of – they got some – the Boozer twins are coming in. They're going to be a problem. And they're loaded again, but they haven't even been to the championship game. That's pretty remarkable for a team that's consistently the number one recruiting class.
Number 1 recruiting, but obviously this transfer portal has really kind of changed that entirely. All those freshmen coming in, they are incredible. They do come right in and play the game like it should be played, but when you run into those Houstons and Floridas that, the guys that have been playing for 3 years, 4 years, some of them, 4 or 5 years,
right?
Because of the COVID thing. I mean, they are men, they are built and it's a whole different ball game. So So we'll see, but I'm sure they got a bunch of players coming in again, which they do.
Yeah, they
But
do.
it's all about the portal. It's all about the portal.
All right, so the NFL draft is this week. I think for the common person, I mean, obviously ESPN has a countdown that started this morning. It's like 84 hours till the draft, and it's like okay. I do always watch the first day,
Yeah.
then I check in afterwards, and they do a great spectacle. It gets great numbers. It's better than a lot of the NBA games as far as ratings are concerned. The first day of the draft this year, again, it's about a handful of players that the average person would know. Travis Hunter, Shadir Sanders, and then you have quarterbacks. It's like who's Cam Ward, so you have and then which team's going to reach for a quarterback because that's what it's all about. So I mean, this year I don't feel like it's an exciting year for the draft.
No, I got you. Did you freeze up? You there? Uh-oh.
Get settled in, like kind of know the first. You there?
Yeah, you were freezing up a little bit. I agree with you. It's not that exciting, but Cam Ward doesn't excite me. I think he's a really good quarterback, but there's a chance where he might not be that good in the NFL. You know what I mean? I mean, he's not
Right.
he's not a for sure thing. Travis Hunter, I can't wait to see him play in the NFL. I think that's going to be fun and exciting. And they're saying Cleveland with the number 2 pick might grab him. That could be interesting. Just a couple interesting things that I see, but I'm kind of hoping there's a bunch of trades and all kinds of stuff happens on draft day instead of just the top 10, goes as Mel Kiper says. But the Giants at number 3, they brought in Shador Sanders, and they do need a quarterback, soon after, they have Russell Wilson, I guess, but they're looking to, I think they should grab that Abdul Carter from Penn State, that linebacker. He's a game changer on defense. If the Giants, but they haven't made very many intelligent moves lately.
No, they haven't.
The Patriots, they look like they're going for offensive tackles. That Ashton Genty, the number 6 pick, that running back going to Las Vegas, I think that's an interesting pick to watch over the next couple of years. I think he can be like a Saquon Barkley type player if he stays healthy. He's that kind of guy. And the only, Carolina's got the 8th pick. And right now they're going for a linebacker out of Georgia, which I'm okay with, man. Anyone coming out of Georgia is good. I mean, my Eagles are full of Georgia guys, and and I think was it this past year we won the Super Bowl? I think it was. Yeah, that's right, it was. But anyway,
I think Washington was hurt or something.
But they're going after this Jalen Walker, a linebacker. I hope they grab him. That's a great pick. Defensive guys are great picks at the beginning. Now, the only one there's 2 that excite me. New Orleans, I think they're going to grab Shador Sanders. They keep saying it, but if he doesn't get picked by New Orleans at number 9, he may drop down to in the 20s, they're saying. But that would be interesting if he goes to New Orleans. But kind of scary because I do like the Panthers, and I got a feeling he's going to turn into a damn good quarterback. But the number 10 pick by the Bears, there's a kid that Tyler Warren out of Penn State. He's a tight end.
Yeah.
That guy is a monster. He's the next superstar tight end to come out. He had 104 catches, 1,200 yards, and 12 touchdowns for Penn State, and he's 6'6", 260. The Bears, if they're smart, they better not let him get through. That would be a beautiful number 10 pick for them.
No, I mean, yeah, it's great. Yeah, Genty, I heard, some of the thought if he goes to Vegas is that's like Pete Carroll written all over it, as he's the new coach of the Raiders. He's got Geno Smith, and and when he did win with Seattle, and also obviously at USC, all that's different. He had a great running game, Pete Carroll, and he had a competent quarterback. And so, and scouts are saying that Genty is like legit, like this is a legit can't miss running back. And so, yeah, so there's definitely some intrigue, but it's funny how we disagree on a lot. But the Cam Ward put up huge numbers. He was super consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, it's not exciting. I don't know. It's not sexy, and I don't know why. Maybe he'll prove us all wrong on the next level, but it's just like,
and he could. But when I'm thinking of number one quarterbacks picked, I don't know, the Mannings, and those were for sure definite. They're gonna be
yes,
great.
right.
For him to be a number one pick, and I mean, he's probably going to prove us absolutely wrong. I don't know, but I'm not excited. Cam Ward could fail miserably.
Yeah.
He could. He'll probably be out of the NFL in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
I mean, and there's a lot of busts at number one or picks. Baker Mayfield looked like he was a bust for a while, and now he's turned it into a great career. But he was kind of, when he got picked, people were like, yeah, I mean, but there was some excitement because he was so brash.
Yeah.
Also, people were like, oh, it seems like a reach, but now he's like a Pro Bowl quarterback after a little, taking a journey for a little bit. So, yeah, that's a tough position. And I think where you get drafted makes such a huge difference. Like, if Tom Brady gets drafted by the Browns 20 years ago, is he the Tom Brady we see now? Probably, or not rings wise, he wouldn't be, because he's in a bad organization. Yep. I mean, he might put up numbers, but it's so crucial where you get drafted and type of coach that you have. Is he an offensive minded coach? You have a supportive front office, because if not, I mean, it could really stunt you. I mean, like Sam Darnold. I mean, Sam Darnold was awful, but he was at two of the worst franchises for a while, the Panthers and the Jets, and then Shanahan had him as backup for a little bit. Like, we like this guy, and then he told his coaching tree, and he went to Minnesota, had a great season. They're like, and then afterwards, like, no, thank you. But anyway, it shows that if you're in the right system, yeah. So, all right, my man.
Well, real quick, and the cool thing about that, the number ones can be failures, but then the other top 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks, that are in the draft, that guy that gets drafted in the 3rd or 4th round by, let's say, Pittsburgh or something, and all of a sudden in the 2nd year he's starting quarterback for the Steelers, who have a bunch of stuff around him, and he turns out to be a great quarterback, just like Brock Purdy. I mean, think about that story.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So anything can happen. So it's going to be quite interesting. But the excitement, the only exciting thing for me is to see because I think Deion's doing a great job, and the way he handles everything. And I'm a big fan of Shedeur Sanders. I'd love to see him do well. But the only bad thing is, if he does go to New Orleans, we have to deal with him as a Panther fan. But we shall see.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're already, Bryce Young had he improved last year, but we're definitely the worst team in the conference. Yeah. We can only go up, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, awesome as always.
All right, great show, man. We'll see you next week.